Hi, welcome back to Shitoku Tech. Back in March, I was browsing LinkedIn and I read about this Raspberry Pi Pico. It is a $4 development board that can be programmed in MicroPython, C, C++, and now in the Arduino IDE. I ordered a few of these right away, but they've been sitting on the bench for a couple of months now. Watch my previous video about Pico and Arduino IDE. Since I just finished loading Raspberry Pi OS on this Raspberry Pi 4 compute module, this seems like a great opportunity to learn how to program the Pico using Thonny in Raspberry Pi OS. Let's get started. Look for the link down below in the description of this video for this free Hackspace PDF ebook, Get Started with MicroPython on Raspberry Pi Pico. We will be following the directions in this ebook. First, let's press the boot select button on the Pico and connect it to the USB on our Raspberry Pi. There is a lot of information about the Raspberry Pi Pico in this index.html file. The most important thing is getting started with MicroPython. You want to download this UF2 file. Open the folder you downloaded it to. Now drag this file into the RPi RP2 folder, the window that opened when you plugged in the Pico. You see the file is copied to the Pico, then you get a notification that the USB drive is removed. This is okay. Now you're ready to program the Pico with MicroPython. In Thonny, you want to click on Configure the Interpreter on the lower right. In the Configure Interpreter panel, you want to select Raspberry Pi Pico. Auto Detect Port works fine on this Pi 4 compute module with the latest version of Raspberry Pi OS. When you click OK, you see information about the Pico is echoed out to the Python shell at the bottom of Thonny. Let's work through a couple of example programs. Most obvious is Hello World. Here we create and save the program. Notice that you can save it to the Pico itself. This makes all your programs on the Pico portable. They will be available wherever you go with your Pico. You can also run commands or simple programs directly in the Python shell. One thing I appreciate about this Get Started with MicroPython on Raspberry Pi Pico guide is it helped me to understand the use of whitespace in Python. Loop commands and conditional statements have a colon at the end. Subsequent lines of the program related to the loop or conditional statement are indented with 4 blank spaces. These lines are considered to be nested within the loop or conditional statement by the interpreter. Here is a simple example of a loop. Now let's see an example of a conditional statement at work. Next, let's try working with I/O pins on the Pico to access other devices. Let's run Blink. The PDF ebook goes into great detail informing on topics such as functions, so you can truly learn how to become a good programmer in Python. I hope this video helps you get started with the Raspberry Pi Pico and programming in MicroPython. Stay tuned, and thank you very much. So, make sure to check all the links in the description down below. Please subscribe. Check out some of these other videos, and thank you very much. Thank you for watching Shitoku Tech. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share.